Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today is about another story about the Land Rover, and today we're going to change the water pump. I have a leakage on the water pump. This thing has been driving, I would assume, probably 194,000 miles, so it's about time to get it changed, and it is leaking. So in order to get this thing sorted, we're going to have to go ahead and take a lot of things apart here in the engine compartment. The engine that we're working on is the Jaguar 8-cylinder 4.4 gasoline. So the Land Rover itself comes out with a whole bunch of different engines, models and so forth, so make sure that whatever use of tools or whatever fits exactly to your engine. But anyway, where is it located? I see here I cheated a little bit and I started up early. Took the intake apart. It's actually laying over here, as you can see, and then the cooler or radiator is actually up here as well. I took the front part off as well, and as you can see here, it's only clipped on to the top part. And then we got to get in behind all this stuff here. Have to take the nut off down here on the fan, so the fan has to be disconnected. This is not a regular lift for loosey kind of thing. This is actually a lift for tightening, so it's the opposite type of wrinkles that you have on there as well. So once we have this off and everything else off, we should be able to get into the water pump, which is located all the way in the back, and that's what we're going to do with this video. I hope you'll enjoy it, and while we're at it, you might as well go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see if I can walk your way through the process. It is a little bit of a bigger job. It is a little bit dirty as well, so it takes a little bit more, I would say, skills than some of the other videos I've made. Anyway, you can scroll back and forth and they'll go ahead and get you through it, and hopefully at the end we'll have this up and running and with no leakage and so forth as well. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and let's get started. So first things first, and now I'm using this to hold the wheel in here where the belt is on. I'm using a special wrench. This is a 36 mil, and you put it on here, and remember, this is the opposite side, so you go right to actually loosen it. It requires a lot of force, so just make sure that you actually get a hold of it. Use gloves. I only have on one hand here. I know I should have on the other one too, but I only have on one because you're always going to cut yourself. Whenever this comes loose, it goes like whang, like this. So I just loosen mine up here, and they can be extremely tight to have on. So if you use these two tools, it should be very simple to go ahead and get the fan off. And actually, if you keep going like this after you loosen it, I'll show you here in a second. You see down here, it's coming off. I'm just turning this fan. Basically, it's easier because that way it rolls off by itself. As you can see, somebody has been on this knuckle down there a few times, so I really had to be tough on it. But you see, it comes off, and the knot we're talking about is this one we have right here. I have put in a little bit of precaution. I put in a small cardboard here because I want to make sure that I don't go ahead and destroy the radiator when I pull out the fan here in a second. And that's basically what we do. There you go, came off, and it's a little heavier than you would believe, but see if I can get it all the way up here with the cooling hoses and whatever. But here it is, and as soon as I get this disconnected in this plug, which is located right here, then it should come off nice and dandy. So I'm just disconnecting the wire here, and then we should be able to get the whole thing off. And here it is. The fan is now out with the wire attachment and everything else. So far so good. We can now continue our operation here, and as you can see now, we're getting closer to all the belts. I bought new belts. When you go in and change the water pumps behind here, once you get in there, I strongly suggest change your serpentine belt, because there's nothing worse than have to go ahead and do it twice. So I got 2 new belts as well that we're going to put on, and then we're going to put on. The tensioners are down here. It's actually made with a breaker bar hole here, so you can just go ahead and pull it off. You don't really have to take the whole thing off if you don't want to change your serpentine belt, but I just strongly recommend to do it, because you can actually take the first part off here first, and then you can take these nuts off that's sitting here. They're 10, and you should be able to get in there. You can do the same thing with the top one here as well. You don't have to take everything apart. Now I'm here, and I'm getting ready now to drain the cooling fluid. As you can see, I got quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and drain it, and I'm going to use it again because it's brand new actually. So let's go ahead and fix it. I've just taken the top part off here, or the hoses. I don't know if you can see it here, but the top part is this one here, because I want to take some of the coolant out, which you can see over here as well. So basically I put this thing in. I have my little pump down here, and I'm going to put some vacuum in it, so it's going to suck out the remaining of the coolant fluid. And now it's just running nice and dandy, and I should be able to see it's coming out. It's actually going all the way down the bottom, so it basically takes everything out that's in there, and that way I won't have a whole bunch of spillage when I take this apart. So it was easier for me to do it this way, and let's see if I can get more out. It was easy for me to do it this way, and that way I won't have a whole bunch of residue and also some additional cooling fluid all over the place. So that's how I did this. So I'm just pumping it out through the top hose here. I got here a breaker bar. As you can see, it's the big one, and it goes straight into that tightener, the pulley right there, and it's made and designed this way by Land Rover that it fits straight into that hole. If I can get it to hit, I hope you guys can see it, but it's fitting straight into this one there. And now I can just go ahead and pull it backwards, and I'll take the serpentine belt right off. It should be quite easy. Let me see if I can get it done. Like this, you pull it, and you go like this. You take your belt off. Don't let go of it. Make sure you don't get your fingers in there. There we are. And here we go. The serpentine belt is now off. And you can actually do a replacement right away if you want to as well. So now we can get to this one, and it's just a matter of taking the rest off. It's going to be the same with the other one over here. That one is over on this side. See the tensioner sitting right here behind there, and basically it fits in as well. But this is a smaller breaker bar, so it's not the big one, but it works the same way. And then you can take the top one off as well. So now it's time to go ahead and take all these things off, and I have to take that off as well because I won't be able to get in here because of the bracket. I have to take this off here, the bracket for cooling in here. I have to take that off as well. So there's a few bolts up here that I need to take off. So we'll go ahead and do that now. I might as well take this one here right away so we can go ahead and get this cup off as well. I cannot emphasize enough that having the right tools are actually quite nice. So here is one where you can take it around, make sure you can hold it, and then if I hold it, I take my 10 mil, put it on, and support it like that, and then loosen. Now one more, just like this. Next one here, pull it and loosen. Now they're all three loose, and it's just a matter of me. I can take it off with my fingers now, and then I can get rid of it. So having the right tools is actually sharpening up your work, and it's going to be a lot less work for you. See here how it comes out nice and dandy. So once you're done with that, take one by a time. And this is also the reason why I don't have a glove on this hand here, because sometimes I feel it's kind of easier to have your fingers free, but I always have it on the other one because that's the one that really gets some beatings when you're in here. This can be tight, and you see here it is. It might need a little bit of a dead blow, so I'm going to use my dead blow hammer for that. It is a plastic hammer, not a regular one, and it will come off pretty easy after that. So let's go ahead and get that done as well. You can hear the dead blow hammer. It's a different sound to it. Here we go. Make sure you don't hit the radiator when you do this. It's coming. There we go. And now the thing is off. As you can see, it's a little bit of corrosion here, and that's why it's getting so tight. I'm going to clean that up with a steel brush, and then we'll take it from there, I guess. So it's just one of those things that you need to do and get off. So here we are. This is how it looks like inside. Not too bad. So I'm going to put my bolts in there, so I know which bolt belongs to what. As we go further and further into this, I want you to go ahead and make sure you keep track of all your bolts and nuts so they don't go in wrong. And the thing is, they might have different lengths as well, so you might want to put in your bolts in a piece of cardboard where you draw the lines and you put them in. That way you can take them out again. I've shown you that on several different videos as well. So let's get the serpentine belts off, and let's keep going. So here's the progress again. As you can see, I'm now taking the bolts off here, and also the bracket that actually held the cup we just took off. As you can see, I leave the screw or the bolts in the respective places, and they're tightened up with 7 foot-pounds, so you have to go ahead and do that afterwards as well. Make sure they're clean before you put them in again. But basically, this looks pretty good as is right now. It's sitting there with an 8mm socket, and it comes off quite simple. I only have the small one, and don't use any violence to get it off. In order to get this off, it requires you to go ahead and loosen this one first, because otherwise you will not be able to get to the top bolt. And once you have that off, you have now full access to the serpentine belt behind here as well, as you can see. So now we can put in our breaker bar down here, loosen the tensioner, and we can take, if you only want to take the top part off, you can, or if you want to replace the whole belt, you can do that as well. Make sure that it's put in exactly the same way as it was, because there's a very easy way to go ahead and get this thing kind of messed up. But if you look down here, you can take pictures with your camera, so you know exactly which way it's going. But if you see here, it goes pretty far down from here and all the way over there as well, so it could be a little bit of a pain. But anyway, take pictures, it's always a good idea. So, removing the serpentine belts, I'm gonna put my serpentine belt remover in here. There we go, into the tensioner, and there we are. And that should be basically doing it, more or less. Let's see. And then we're gonna go ahead and push it forward, make sure we don't destroy anything else. Like this. Now the tension should be taken off. Don't let it swap back so you get your fingers into trouble. Oh, sorry guys. There we are. And now I can let it come back slowly. Like this. And hopefully I can put it back in again whenever I get to that part. But now I got this out. I think it's my gasket in there that's actually gone. It's not the pump itself, but the gasket has been blown, so it's not good at all. But it's actually sitting right here, as you can see, behind here. And I can hear a little bit of water in there, but it's actually leaking, as I can see now, so that's why we have to get it out. So the pump is actually behind there, and let's go ahead and get that sorted out. Let's see if I can get you there. There you go. So I've just taken these. There's also 8. I held it with my special tool, so now I can take them off as well. And if you look carefully on the video, I don't know if you can see it because the light might be a little bit bad here, but this serpentine belt I just took off has a crack in it right there. So as you can see, this is not only a matter of time before this is going to go ahead and break on me, and then we'll have other problems on the road. So it is a good idea to change these serpentine belts when you change your water pump. It definitely makes a big difference. So now I'm just about taking this out. I don't know if this is going to be hard to get off as well, but we'll see. I'm hoping not to take this apart, but you never know. This needed that blow as well. There we go. And looks like this. Put in the 3 screws. They're same length, that way we have them all organized. And now the water pump itself is actually right here, as you can see. This is the old one. Now before we take this apart and have a look at what's going on here, I strongly suggest that you take your new one out and you have a look at how it actually is performed. There are several screws. There are 5. These 2 that you see over here, that one and this one, are actually to disassemble the water pump itself. So don't take them out. It's going to be the other ones, those 5 around here, that you need to loosen up first. So this is what we're going to do next, and then hopefully I'll be able to go ahead and take that pump out. As you can see, we're almost in the middle of the engine. Need surgical precision, I guess, and then from here on it's going to be pretty much straightforward. So let's find an 8 socket and put that on, see if we can go ahead and change the water pump. So here we go. These ones, this one there is the one. I suggest that you actually take this off, take the new water pump and put the bolt into its regular place, because these bolts might have different lengths, as you can see around here. That way you don't put a wrong bolt into the wrong hole. That's important. So here we are, a progress check really. This is actually the water pump. I just took out the bolts, as you can see, all 5 of them. Here is the new one with a gasket underneath, and as you can see, those 5 holes that I actually point out is this one, that one, that one, that one, and this one. These 2 bolts you do not touch. These are actually to assemble and disassemble the water pump itself. So it's only these 5. Now where they put the other ones to make sure they go into the right holes, I would have liked them in here, but since I used them, you can always go ahead and put them up in a cardboard like this, and now you can see they should be exactly the same. So the lower part, this one here, is that one you have right there. This one over here is this one you got over here. And if you're in doubt where you put it, take your gasket and draw it onto the cardboard up here, and then put them in accordingly. That way you know you have the right bolt for the right hole as well afterwards. So let's see if we can get this one here out. I don't know if it, there we go. There was a little bit of water in there still, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna get some new ones on. And then let's see how this looks like. This is the pump itself, and well, it looks dirty. There will be, and as you can see in there, there's a big hole inside to the engine now, but it served its purpose, I guess. And let's have a look at the gasket when it comes out here, because that's my suspicion that this is the problem where everything started. Hard to say where this thing went bad, but it's definitely old, and I can't see it here as it is right now. It's me who made the bend on there, but it could be anywhere. It could be up here or over here as well. It's hard to say, but anyway, this gasket is definitely bad, and that's why we're going to go ahead and replace it. I'm going to clean this up down here. As you can see, it is a little dirty, so I'm going to use my compressor probably to do that. But actually, here you go. That's how it looks like, and basically that's going to be cleaned up with a small brush before I put it all together again. So let's go ahead and get that started and change the serpentine belt, and we should be just on the way back again. So here we are, we're jumping into the hole here. This is where the water pump is sitting, and this is where I have my water leakage. And as you can see now, we're just going to go ahead and put a new one in, clean up the whole area, and then change the serpentine belt, which is actually here already, as you can see. I'm going to take that off now, and then everything should be put back together as well. And of course, you get into trouble with the old radiators on the sides. They're made out of plastic, and here is some of the stuff that happens. This is actually my little sprout comes on here. As you can see, it's supposed to sit like this, but somebody down the line, including myself probably, have tried to glue it on. I haven't glued this on, but when I took it apart, it just came totally apart, and I could see that it would start sweating a little bit around it, and you can see it here as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and I will see if I can actually fix it. And what I'll do is I'm going to replace it with this brass connector instead. It's actually for fuel line, but it has the same diameter and it fits straight into the holes here as well, so that's perfect. And now it's just a matter of drilling this out slowly and very, very carefully, and hopefully I'll be able to go ahead and get that in, and then I'll tighten up with JD weld, which is up to about 5,000 psi strong, and it can go ahead and glue both this plastic and everything else. Let's see how it goes, and if it does work, we might save your radiator for a little bit longer. Gonna use the JB weld here, and it's up to 5020 psi. It takes a little bit of time to cure, 15 to 24 hours, but it doesn't matter. You just mix these two. It's a kind of epoxy kind of glue, and it treats basically everything. So this can tolerate the heat and can tolerate all the other stuff. So let's hope that it's going to be just fine. It is strong, and it takes fuel, chemicals, and all kinds of stuff, and it goes all the way up to 550 Fahrenheit. So it is quite a lot. This is actually a very good product. I'm not getting paid by them at all, but it does work for many other things as well, and it is extremely strong. So let's put it on. Like, it's gray just like steel, and it's strong just like steel. Now a steel reinforcement, and so here it is. This is now a steel reinforcement or brass reinforcement, and it's sitting there. It needs 15 hours to dry, and this is going to be just as hard as steel, and I guarantee you this is going to work just fine. So you can do it. If you haven't already done it, please like and subscribe. This is the tech tip of the week. The new water pump, the gasket is on, and just make sure you turn it correctly, and you can see the 5 bolts. They're actually the same as we just saw on the cardboard. So I cleaned everything, and make sure you don't put it in, and make sure you don't hang on for a second here. Make sure you don't destroy the gasket. I turned mine upside down here. This is what happens now and then. So we'll go ahead and turn it for a sec. You can see here it's kind of hard to both film and to do this correctly, but that's how it goes. There we are. There we are. It's now in place, and I'll take the first of my nuts here to put it, sorry, my bolts here, and put it in. Just make sure that it's actually fitting. There we go. Slips nice and dandy in. I'll take the other side as well. Just make sure that the gasket is actually holding up and in the correct position. It's kind of hard here to film at the same time, and there we go. There we go. I'll show you. So here it is. As you can see now, the water pump is in. I put that as a control and that as a control, just to make sure that my gasket is sitting exactly as I want, and it does right now. So it should be just perfectly there and ready to be put into position. So now I'll tighten up the bolts, 7 foot-pounds each, and then we can go back and reassemble the whole 9 yards. Now here is the rest of my bolts, so I'm going to take them one by one. As you can see, I can see how far they get, and they go into the right holes again. Now when you tighten up your water pump, when you get back with it here, and you tighten up all your bolts, make sure you tighten them up in a cross pattern, and keep doing that until you got your 7 foot-pounds on all of them. So keep doing cross tightening, and then make sure that they're all the same, because as you tighten it up, the gasket is going to go ahead and settle into its seat, and then once it's settled, that's when you can actually trust the bolts. The bolts have to be clean as well in order to give you the correct reading on your torque wrench as well. So make sure you cross tighten, make sure they're clean, and then put them back in. There we go. I'm just putting on the fan here again, or the runner and stuff like that. So once I'm done with that, we can start putting on the wheels as well. So when I'm done with this, it's going to be pretty much straightforward. Put the fan back on, and we're almost done. So guys, as you can see, the progress here is going pretty much straightforward. As it is right now, the belts are back in place, and this over here is in place. The tighteners on both sides, the pulleys over there, are in place, and all the bolts and nuts are tightened up to specifications. So we're getting close to finishing the whole thing. Next thing is going to be the fan goes back on, and then we're basically done and ready to start up the engine and try it out. So it's a hard job. You just need to have the right tools. It takes a little bit of labor, and that's basically what you can gain from this. Anyway, let's continue. So guys, I just finished the water pump installation. As you can see, now everything's actually finished. Got some water on here, but I need to put some more in, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in. The vent up here is going to be where I'm going to let out the air. I'm going to let it run for about 10 minutes with pouring water to make sure everything's in, and then it should be stabilizing itself. Always do an inventory check before you close up your compartment. Make sure everything is closed, all the holes are set, all your sockets and all your plugs, they're in the right position, and you should be ready to go. So now I'll put on the cover, and then I will go ahead and fill some more of the coolant fluid in, and then we go for a test drive. Hi guys, I'm out test driving the Land Rover after changing the water pump, and it looks like it's driving absolutely superb, no problem at all. It runs nice and dandy forward, and doesn't have any leakage or anything like this. Temperature stays within where it's supposed to be, and I'm actually quite happy with all that actually happens right now. So that concludes the end of that, and it concludes the end of changing the water pump. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to the videos, and then you get another notification whenever I make a new one. So until then, it's time for me to do like a tree and leave, and see you next time. Bye bye.